From Oakland, California, it's Civil Rights News Now, facing the issues that face you. When news breaks, we'll be there.
Good evening. This is CRNN Civil Rights News Now. I'm Bao Chao Nguyen.
And I'm Ricky Bennett. Tonight, we'll take you to the center of democracy, where it all began.
Currently, we're in the middle of an election year, and as citizens, we can exercise our right to vote. But it wasn't always that way. African American males didn't get the right to vote until the 15th Amendment, and women had to wait for another 50 years. Have you ever wondered what it was like for women and African Americans before they could vote? To find out, I went to Colonial Williamsburg. Let's take a look. This is the House of Burgesses in Williamsburg, Virginia, where the first form of government was practiced in the continent of America. Inside, you will find legislators, governors, and judges, yet you won't find any women nor slaves. We have talked to some colonial women to find out their perspective of their position in society.
I'm quite free, sir. I'm not in any bondage at all.
You vote?
My husband votes for us both. One vote for a household, sir.
My husband and I mostly agree on everything. Anything that we need a decision on, he decides. Now, there's some women I know own all their own property and their own business and everything.
Oh, sir, as British citizens, we are quite the freest upon earth.
It appears that the women in Williamsburg are very content with their position in society. However, when we try to speak to a slave, their master forbid it. It looks like freedom isn't free for everyone in Williamsburg. For Civil Rights News Now, this is Bao Chao. Can any of you women imagine having your husband vote for you? I can't.
I wouldn't want to vote for my spouse. Speaking of spouses, right now, the definition of marriage is being questioned. There's even a movement to change the Constitution again. So let's go to our correspondent, Dominic DiGiovanni, in Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Ricky. I'm here on a brisk morning in our nation's capital. One issue that's come up recently is marriage rights for our gay and lesbian American citizens. We managed to get a hold of a spokesperson from the office of our home state's representative, Barbara Lee.
The Congresswoman has been, historically it's a civil rights issue. You guys do a great service to the nation. In many ways, you're like out front on a lot of issues, and the rest of the country has to catch up to you.
For a little perspective, we met up with California resident Thomas Lane, who's here visiting the Capitol today. Thomas, do you think gay rights is a civil rights issue?
Yes, I do feel that gay rights is a civil rights issue. During the civil rights era, blacks were fighting for equality and the same rights as other people, and here, gays are fighting for the same marriage as other people.
Well, it looks like our California resident has lived up to his progressive reputation. Now, as much as the legislative body in California hasn't had to decide anything on this yet, it may at any time. So I guess we'll just have to wait around and see. Back to you, Ricky.
Thanks, Dom. If San Francisco Mayor Gavin Newsom has his way, we'll be hearing wedding bells ring for a long time to come.
Well, speaking of revolution, let's go to Alex Park, who is interviewing a colonial firebrand.
Thanks, Bao Chao. I'm standing live in 1775 Williamsburg, Virginia, where a breaking revolution is taking the colonies by storm. A major voice in that revolution is standing with me now, Mr. Patrick Henry.
How do you do?
You wish to overthrow the British government in this region and start your own republic. What do you believe the purpose of the laws and the courts will be in that new republic?
We shall ever be tied by blood and tradition to Great Britain, of this I'm certain. Many of our civil laws will remain much the same as they ever have, with one great difference. We'll no longer have a king as our sovereign. We are on the threshold of establishing a grand new experiment, a new nation which is conceived in liberty, with the notion of justice for all men, not only the wealthy few. I will expect that this will serve as not only a beacon of hope to oppressed societies around the globe, but it will also be the envy of some.
Well, there you have it. Revolution is certainly stirring in these colonies, and as Mr. Henry might say, it's already begun. Back to you, Bao Chao.
It sounds like things are heating up in Williamsburg.
Now let's go to D.C., where Austin Zummer is chilling on the steps of the Supreme Court.
Yes, it's pretty chilly out here. I'm shivering on the steps of the Supreme Court. In the colonial courts, there were just a few barristers. But on the Supreme Court, there's a panel of 9 judges that determine the constitutionality of our laws. Experts met today to discuss the current challenges facing the judiciary.
It makes rules that affect all of our lives on a daily basis, equally as important, if not more important, than the President and the Congress.
With our nation at war, it calls into question the rights of habeas corpus. We talked to some American citizens to find out what they think.
Seems to me basically immoral to keep people for years, not tell them what their charges are, not release their names.
I don't know if the government can come and hassle me, when I'm just chilling on the corner like they did to those people in Afghanistan.
Well, there you have it. The American public is obviously concerned. Make no mistake. Civil Rights News Now will keep you informed. Back to you, Ricky.
Thanks, Austin. I'm sure there'll be more battles to fight.
And we'll be there. I'm Bao Chao Nguyen.
And I'm Ricky Bennett. Join us next time on CRNN.
Good night.
There's a typo on the script.
Yeah. She said
that's good night. Got a good jib out there.
That says, and we'll be there. Make sure it's a there. Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll be there. I'm Bao Chao Nguyen.
And I'm Ricky Bennett. Join us next time on CRNN.
Good night.
Confidence, quick, but hard,